I'm not going to steal your boobs. Oh, you meant the handbag. All right, that took me a second. I'm not going to steal your boobs. I'm also not going to steal your handbag. Anyway, welcome to Proof of Concept, the podcast where we have a special Halloween episode wherein we're going to steal each other's boobs, apparently.
Boobs, what's the difference?
I'm already lost.
We're all lost. We're all lost with God. So, talking of... Oh, we forgot to put the names. Oh, no. Oh, well. Right, talking of who's lost together...
I should probably look at Discord instead of at the Audacity.
I mean, are you recording?
Yes, I am recording.
As you can tell, everyone, we are a professional outlet. We do really, really well. This wasn't really badly put together, like, last minute. But yeah, so... Your usual hosts, minus Abby, who, after being officially recognised onto the podcast as a member last episode, which we haven't recorded yet, she can't make it for this one because she sat next to me and she forgot to bring a microphone with her, didn't she?
Yeah.
So she's not part of this episode, but she is here in spirit and also next to me in my bed. Next to me, and my name is Alex, and I'm in the top left. That's me next to the very gay Ford Raptor. Dalen, if you want to go, you're next because you're in the middle.
Hi, I'm Dalen. I'm there under the logo, I guess. And, yeah, we're recording again. Stuff.
And then Tyler.
ER NASCAR. I'm on the right. I prepared for the show by drinking a lot of whiskey. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, first time recording with 2/3 of the cast in the same room.
Oh, well, that's not strictly true. Oh, actually, I guess it is because the last time that we
2/3.
recorded two in the same room, it was me and Abby.
That was 2 out of 4. That's half.
That was half.
Your math is terrible.
This is the current record for how many of the hosts are in the same room out of the total, percentage wise.
No, it's not, because when we started out, when it was me and the original co-host, who we don't name anymore, we both recorded one of those episodes together. So at one point there was 100% in.
Well,
that is true. He's got us on a technicality. But didn't that host die from a passenger airbag outside pedestrian thing exploding in his face?
No, that was one before that.
That was Perrin.
This podcast has a higher turnover rate than your local Burger King.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we've gone through more.
I don't know how we've survived this long. We're probably getting fired next week.
Oh well, let me drink some more and I'll guarantee it.
Yeah, see, we've gone through more hosts than Top Gear has. So, but yeah, that's us.
We're already to the jackass Chris Evans. We're already that era. We're fucked.
No, we've passed that now.
Can I be the Johnny Knoxville of podcasting?
No. There was the first season without James May. That then once we got James May, we had our James May era. But now we're no longer in the original cast era.
But here's the thing: we've now taken Abby on full time, even though she isn't in this episode. So
we've passed.
We're now in the Joey Tribbiani era.
Oh God!
I don't know if I want to be part of that. Who is that? I don't know.
That was Rory Reid, Matt LeBlanc, and Chris Harris. It was an alright era.
Are you blind?
You are Matt LeBlanc.
I like Chris Harris.
We're off topic again, guys. We're supposed to be talking about cursed cars.
So
we didn't know. We haven't even gotten to the part where we discussed the topic yet.
Shit, guys, that's not what we're doing.
So, guys, first of all, we're going to go into the news section. We've only got one this week, and I've stolen it directly from Unilad. But in our podcast usual anti-Tesla stance, a Tesla owner has been completely locked out of his car, apparently, after he refuses to pay for a new battery.
Hang on a second. Fuck Tesla. I think that covers all of it.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know what happened here, but how I am.
$160,000 for it apparently. Originally, the car, $160,000, and now he can't replace the battery. He doesn't want to pay the.
No, I think that's an X.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure that's his actual Tesla. I think that might just be a photographed Tesla. I don't know if that's his actual one. So.
Okay, I noticed that is a California plate, and I believe Unilad is Australian based, so I don't know.
That doesn't matter.
No, Unilad is England based.
Oh, really? I thought okay. I only knew about them from all of my Australian internet friends, so that's why.
I mean, Australia
and
is
my and everything is picking up my phone beeping because I didn't
How
need it.
Unprofessional to leave your phone on during a recording.
Damn it, person! I don't want to name drop publicly.
Things have gone really poorly. So yeah, this poor fella has, despite paying, I think he said he bought for the car for something $160,000 new. Now he's not allowed in it.
Can I point out that Tesla would be much more successful if they ran their company as a car company and not a fucking tech startup?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I disagree with you, because as a car company, they make absolutely no money at all. But as a tech startup, they're getting just constant investment into them all the time.
But they're having so many problems now, which are relating a lot heavier to the tech side, than the automotive side.
Tesla has literally never made a profit ever. They make constant money off investors, but never made it turn a profit.
My biggest complaint with them for a while. It wasn't investors; it was government grants.
Yeah, they do a lot of emissions trading, which I don't know how emissions trading works.
You get so many credits for how much you're allowed to pollute, and because their stuff doesn't really do it to the rate as everyone else's, they can sell those credits off to other manufacturers, so they can go over without getting fined.
That's such
which means the people who buy the credits are allowed to fuck up more shit.
Yes, and they make a lot of money buying those credits because they're worth a lot of money.
So yeah, to follow the usual stance.
I hate this entire program.
Tesla, shove it up your japsy.
I've noticed recently.
Japsy is the word.
If you look at where some markets now, you're starting to realize that we have other in that same price range expensive EVs popping up that don't suck. Hopefully Tesla dies soon now.
I've started noticing since the Porsche Taycan came out. I'm noticing a lot more of them than I did now.
The Rivian's pretty legit.
I have seen the Rivian truck, and I would say that if I didn't already have a reservation on the Alpha Wolf, I would consider a Rivian.
The Rivian, it does truck things, and best I can tell, it's just as sporty as like a Model X.
Okay, but does the Rivian run into the F-150 Lightning problem, though? Because the F-150 Lightning, people are getting 50 miles range on a full charge with a trailer on the back.
I don't know if it's towed with a Rivian yet.
I think
the only one I know who has a Rivian is pretty much used it as like a camp rig, like my Tahoe.
Everyone I know who's had tow rigs made out of EVs has had that range problem, because obviously they're not really built for towing. You'd have to.
Well, that's the problem. I use my truck for that a lot.
I wonder if they'll come up with some kind of tow package.
It would not be able to be my primary truck ever.
Yeah, you always have at least 3 trucks. So
I wonder if they have to come up with a tow package kind of system with a lot of these, where they have to put a massive motor on it. Because I don't know how they're going to
put a diesel generator in the bed and just let it kind of chooch all day.
Well, this is my curiosity with it. Is obviously they keep trying to build electric semis, I guess, or 18-wheelers, HGVs, Arctic lorries, whatever people say. So I'm curious how they're going to manage that, because towing a trailer with a car on it is a lot less heavy than...
Okay, so when you get to big trucks, everything is Lego. You can go buy a brand new Peterbilt today, and you can get 4 different types of engine from 4 different manufacturers, 5 different transmissions from 3 different manufacturers. You can get 2 or 3 different brands of rear axles. You're paying for a cab and the frame. Everything else kind of just swaps in. Unless you're like Mac and an asshole, because that's all Mac.
But this is the thing: is what I'm thinking is, those electric motors. How are you going to tow 40 tons with that?
Oh,
I mean, there's the Edison idea.
Eaton's making e-axles that make 200,000 foot-pounds at the pinion.
They already work. The axles are already commercially available and actually sometimes being used.
I'm allegedly part of a project that I can't talk about to make a bus EV.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you guys on that one later.
I mean, the idea of a diesel hybrid towing things is not a difficult concept. That's how the majority of railroads work in the U.S.
There's the EV thing, the Edison. Have you seen that? The Canadian fella who's... See, that, I understand a diesel hybrid truck, because that makes sense, because obviously my dad was a long-distance lorry driver for a long time.
Oh, full battery electric is very questionable.
That's
if we're going to do full battery electric on trucks like that, we need interchangeable batteries where you pull up to a station and get the battery swap, because we don't have the ability to charge those efficiently.
Some people are experimenting with that. I mean, there's not a Le Mans racer, it's an endurance racer, but it has that technology. I think I've shown you guys before, where they pull it.
So it's not going to be like Formula E, where when you go to reload the gun, you throw the gun away and slam it back on a new mag? Because that's what Formula E just does. They just, the car's dead! Hurry up, get in the backup car!
My car company that I work for that we don't name has one of those, and it's a very cool car to look at. But yeah, it's
basically
it's
a sports
interesting
racer design chassis. I think it was actually a team for 25 Hours of Thunder Hill. They actually had basically side pods were batteries. They pick the body up, put a dolly under each battery, pull them off, then wheel in new batteries, hook them up, and go.
Yeah, that's the one I was
about.
And
they could do that swap basically about as quickly as you would expect any like lower end endurance pit stops to go. They're on team. They can do like a Lemons style.
Well, when you go to like Le Mans rules, you have your 2 Joker pit stops, which are your fast ones. But every other pit stop of the race has to meet a minimum time anyway.
I'm pretty sure they're easily within that minimum time.
Yeah, but like when you have to meet like a minimum 4-minute pit stop or something like that.
Actually, if they could come up with a way with the bodywork to better seal around the batteries, and they didn't have to pull the body off, that's the bulk of the time there.
But even at that, I mean, if you're looking at
you just have the side pods where they basically they'll take the whole side pod off the car and put a new one on.
Oh, like the fairing and all that's with the battery.
Yeah, that way you don't. That way you basically.
That would actually be really easy
to
do.
unpin the battery and
See, it'd be. I think because this is the problem is I think a lot of people now who bought EVs early on are now looking at a lot of their investment into it because batteries will degrade. They always do. You're looking at a lot of people now who've bought like Nissan Leafs because Nissan Leafs were like really cheap. They were a good early EV.
The perfect place to get a donor battery to make a house battery for your bus.
But that's the thing is, people buy them now think, oh well, it's a couple of years old, it's cheap, and they buy it, and it's got no range at all because it's like, oh, I got to spend another 13 grand getting the battery replaced. I can't afford that. So I'm curious to see where in the future we might look at.
Last I heard, the Leaf batteries, which I'm actually somewhat interested in the Nissan Leaf, because it's like pretty much the only cheap EV there is that we're going to see them use. Those batteries are $4,000.
Okay, so, $4,000 still. That's a big investment for some people. That is both of my cars and $1,000.
That's still going to be pretty. I mean, that's just something you have to plan around, but you don't do that often.
So I went to a Ford factory training class, and when I was there, as for hybrid and EV, we drove the Focus EV to dinner. And we had to turn the heat off on the way back because we were afraid we weren't going to make it back to the hotel as the range was plummeting. Apparently Chicago in the winter is not the best place for that battery.
Yeah, because don't EVs struggle in the cold? Isn't that like a big thing for EVs? Which you'd think
the battery has to get warmed up before it can get to its proper discharge rates.
Okay, because I thought it'd be the other way around. Because obviously a lot of computers and things like that, they struggle in the heat because it's.
Oh, they struggle in the heat too. There's a range you have to keep it in. The battery gets too hot, it will start cutting power back.
Because I know a big problem Teslas have is they're designed very much for California, and they struggle anywhere else.
Yeah.
The hatch on a Model S is designed in such a way that water pools on the back window.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you open it, it just dumps the water in on all your shit.
Which, the weirdest thing is, most of the cars who have that similar design, they have a little, channel, so when you open it, it goes into that channel and moves around. My favorite is, if you drive them in a snowy area, it piles up on the back of the boot. You open the boot, it just dumps all the snow on your boot straight into the boot. It's just really bad design, because Tesla is awful. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not anti-EV. I quite like to have one, or at least to try one.
I like EVs. I like a lot of them. Just Tesla as a company is bullshit.
Tesla is a crap company.
I have a reservation
Elon
on it. If it ever goes to production, I fully intend on owning one.
To be honest, I know exactly which one you've got a reservation on, and I quite like Alpha as a company. I think they're really cool.
They've got some really good-looking concepts.
They have one that's like a mixture of an Alpha GT, a Ford Escort, and like a Beetle from the side. And that's a almost very pretty car. I do really like that.
Yeah.
I nearly put a reservation on one of them, actually, funny enough.
You mentioned Edison earlier. I was thinking they also mentioned part of their business model is going to basically what their current truck is mostly a prototype for is their retrofit kit they're going to offer.
I think that's absolutely the way forward, actually. In a lot of
ways.
I'm
actually I have a definite use in mind for that kit, depending on how much it costs and what it ends up being like.
I actually think that would be something I would consider on this.
Yeah.
Because range doesn't really matter when it's my house.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of solar on top that's going up. And if I did a second bank, imagine you just remove your generator
and your current drivetrain.
I don't have a generator.
Well, yeah, that's right. But like if anyone's not smart enough to have a shitload of solar on their bus, that's a lot of surface area on top.
Yeah.
Pretty much your drivetrain that charges your batteries for electric drive is a really good fucking generator on its own.
Yeah, that could just tie into my house battery bank when I'm not moving, but I mean, we could put like a really small diesel generator in the bay. You could easily set it up to just be
charging your house batteries the whole time while you're driving.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as well, is when you have a diesel generator as opposed to a petrol engine, a diesel engine, right?
Which, yes, is exactly what I had in mind for what I would do there. I would see how well I could make that fit in an MCI MC5.
It's really easy because you don't have to worry about bus pinions.
Yeah.
Like this axle.
Yeah, you can just hang the axle pretty much. I'm assuming you can order them to like the spec as far as width and shit.
So for the project I'm not allowed to mention, I had to measure the area between the bulkheads on a GMV drive to make sure that the new Eaton E axles will hang.
Okay.
I'll tell you about that when we're done recording.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
talking of recording, I definitely just want to do that with an MC5.
I say we should move on to our topic of the day, shall we?
Yes, please.
So, even though it's currently September when we record this, when this comes out, it'll be October and it'll be a spooky time. So this is our Halloween episode. And to make it a bit Halloween themed, we thought we'd look at sort of spoopy cars from movies and things like that. However, turns out a lot of like spooky or horror movie cars, prop cars in general, a lot of them don't have a great deal of documentation or information on them telling you much about them. So I don't think Tyler's got two, but me and Dalen have both got two each to try and bulk out the episode a little bit more. But,
it's okay. I found a real life cursed car.
Yeah, you did, and it is technically. I think it has been in a movie, but we'll get to that in a second. We're going to rate these as we usually do, but we're going to rate them out of... I don't know. Do we rate them out of spookiness, out of coolness, out of scariness?
Hey, I just figured out how we can make Abby be a part of this. She can still rate them into the mic for us.
There you go, Abby. You get to rate them into the mic from a distance, even though you're not credited in the podcast opening.
Yay!
Abby's included, everyone. Abby's
make your life difficult and have to add it in post.
Just have a picture badly floating in the corner.
Just every time she speaks, just pop an Abby icon up.
Nobody noticed.
Yes.
I noticed. It does say Podcast of Horror 14. I don't know if this is going to be the 14th episode. Because we are potentially recording one in between.
There's a bit of time between when the next one's supposed to come out. Wait a minute. Is that one out today as the time of recording? I haven't looked at YouTube today.
No. That one is going to go out tomorrow because I finally have time to edit it tomorrow because everyone in the UK has got a day off for a reason of...
It doesn't sound important.
An insignificant event that wildly inconvenienced you people.
Yeah, I can't... I'm not going to say what that event...
If anyone knows what that is, they would probably definitely know I'm not from that country.
Yeah, I don't want to get shouted at again. Even though I didn't get shouted at, I think I got shouted at because of you two last time, even though it wasn't you two doing most of the things. So, anyway, shall we see who's first? Ooh, Tyler, I believe you are first.
Oh! Well, we're going to start this with a real-life car. So, this is a 1955 Porsche 550 that was famously owned by James Dean. This car was named the Little Bastard.
It's looking a bit unhappy there.
He had owned the car for about a week when that happened.
Ooh.
Driving like 86 miles an hour down a road, a college student and a Ford Tudor pulled out and hit him. The passenger was thrown from the car, and James Dean was pronounced dead before he got to the hospital.
Was the passenger also killed?
I don't know. I could not verify. He was a Porsche mechanic. But they were on the way to the Salina sports car race with that. So this car was going to be raced that day. They were driving it to the track.
Because James Dean was actually a big
September
race
30th,
fan, wasn't he?
So this car was deemed a total loss. And in a slightly weird way for the time, right now it's really common when a car is totaled, it goes to an insurance auction, and then it'll be bought up by a scrapyard or somebody's going to use it for parts. That was not common back then, but this car actually did go up for auction. And Dr. William Esrich bought it. Now, when he bought it, his intent was to part out this car and use it for other stuff, because this is a pretty spicy Beetle. It's like
I actually, if you wouldn't mind me interjecting, one of the main reasons why this one went up for auction is because these were actually insanely rare in America at the time. This was actually a really, really early import, which is why he auctioned it to part it out, because no one could get parts of them in the US at the time.
Yeah. So 105, 110, something like that horsepower, air-cooled VW engine in the back. I believe it weighed like 1,200 pounds. Like, stupid light car.
Was this not the engine that became the 356 engine?
I think it is.
Because I think this predates the 356 still.
It does. Anyway, so the doctor bought it to put the engine in his Lotus Mark 9 race car. Now, while he was parting it out, he sold some of the other parts to his friend Dr. Troy McHenry. He ended up with the suspension and the transmission out of the car. Now, in 1956, in a race, Esrich crashed the Lotus, but lived. But in the exact same race, McHenry crashed his car that had the transmission suspension from this car in it, and died.
The curse of the little bastard.
Oh, it gets worse. That's not the end of the confirmed killed list on the little bastard. So following this, George Barris bought the car. Now, I don't know if you know who George Barris is, but most of the movie cars you could think of, like the original Batmobile and stuff, that was George Barris.
Oh, okay.
I got to meet him as a kid.
There's a few that are like, there's a few that he, the only issue we have with him is there's been some instances of other people just give him credit for something and he doesn't correct them.
Okay, so I can probably say this because he's dead now and I don't think we're going to get sued for it, but like, the car club I used to be a member of hired him to come out to our 2-day car show and like sign autographs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We had to pay for his hotel, his alcohol bill, and he allegedly was soliciting some nice ladies at the bar of the hotel and was an asshole to us the entire time.
Oh.
You know, like unfortunately, I regret that I can't remember who actually built it, but like the Monkey Mobile,
yes,
was not a George Barris car,
but he gets credited for it.
Yes, and he never corrected anyone, and was very happy to claim that one once it got credited to him.
Yeah. Anyway, so he bought the car, with a promise to rebuild it, but as the story goes, that didn't end up happening. So he loaned the car to the National Safety Council from 1957 to 1959. And they were going to use it as a go-around showing people, don't speed, it'll kill you, it goes on display, right? Allegedly, and I have not found a news article to confirm this, the car fell off its stand at one of those events, causing a bystander to break their hip. Not a kill, but breaking a hip sucks. Especially in the 50s.
No, you don't want to do that in the 50s. Is that
in
still
1959, while the car was sitting in storage, it caught on fire. Just this car. The fire was pretty minor. Just some paint damage, and it damaged 2 of the tires on it. The additional 2 tires off the car were at that point then sold to somebody else. And reportedly, they both blew out at the same time, causing that car to beeline straight into a damn ditch.
This is the most cursed car in history, isn't it?
It's not done yet.
Oh my god, okay.
So, during the time that it was on tour for the National Safety Council, the car fell off the transporter, crushing and killing the driver. Oh, what's his name? George Barkis. Should credit him. R.I.P. in peace, man. Sorry the little Porsche killed you. So there's at least 3 dead bodies from this one Porsche or its parts. At that point, though, now, there is some speculation that this story was made up by Barris. But we also don't know the whereabouts of the car. Allegedly, in 1960, the car was being transported by rail from Miami back to LA. The car was stolen from the train and has not been seen since. So, in 2005, there was actually a reward offered for a few $1 million if anyone could find this car. But no one has come forward with it. It has not been seen since 1960.
How do you steal it off a train? It's got no tyres on it at that point, and it's not exactly drivable.
I don't think you understand how long trains sit in one place.
That is a fair point, especially in the US. I forget that, you guys don't have a train system that vaguely works, unlike us. Our train
It'll
systems
do it
have...
eventually.
That it is
There's no
a
hurry.
very cursed vibe. This which Porsche was it again? It's a
It's a 1955 550 Spider.
550 Spider. Yeah, it's because
It was
he's a big
reported
race
that
guy,
several
wasn't he?
people, like, before the wreck, had seen the car and just gotten such bad vibes being around it. They told him, don't drive it.
Because he wasn't meant to have this one, was he? If I remember correctly, he wanted a different Porsche, but this is the one he could get at the time. Because again, Porsche weren't big in America yet. Because he was big into his racing, wasn't he, James Dean?
Yes.
That's why he bought it, because he obviously, as you can see here, 130, he was off to the Salinas race. Because before this, he raced a Lotus 7?
Most people, I don't think, realize that James Dean has a pretty good racing history. They just think of him I think he'd done 3 movies at the time of his death?
Yeah.
Yes, I think, what was it? It was his most famous one came out after he died. It was the... Rebel Without a Cause. Thank you, Abby. I don't know if Abby can be heard off screen, but Abby just answered the questions for me. Yeah, it is a bad vibe, this car.
And I believe if you go to the next slide, that is the Lotus Mark 9 that has Little Bastard's engine in it.
Oh.
I found that picture doing research.
So they actually put the engine from that into a Lotus? I thought they would have been put into a different Porsche. I didn't realize they put it into a Lotus.
Nope, the doctor that bought it at auction, that's the one... the Lotus Mark 9 that he raced.
Oh. I never knew that. That is... Ooh, that's eerie, because it makes it even weirder when you see the car it went into as well, because you're like, oh, right, yeah, that actually did do...
That car attempted to kill him.
I mean,
I said, the transmission and suspension went onto a car that did kill somebody at the same race.
To slightly ruin some suspense for people, I will remind everyone that the 1950s was just a dangerous time to be alive anyway, but especially to do motorsport. So there is that element to things where I think F1 at the time was killing, I think, 4 or 5 people per season. So racing was dangerous at the time. But yeah, it is still quite an unlucky, cursed vibe.
Well, I mean, the last generation of NASCAR was the first one to not have a death in the entire generation of the car. IndyCar right now on the DW12 Dallara chassis, I think that's the first one so far that hasn't had a death in it.
Yeah.
The one
it's a relatively new thing that people don't frequently die racing.
The one that astounds me is the Isle of Man, because I think on average 2 or 3 people die every year on the Isle of Man TT. I'm being corrected.
It's about 1 or 2 every 3 years.
1 or 2 every 3 years. There we go. I am corrected. But still, the amount of people that die doing the Isle of Man TT, which is, by the way, just it's 1, 2, 3 days. It's not a long amount of time it goes on for.
What classes and everything else is different classes with the TT.
But it's once a year, and that thing still kills people constantly. So, talking about cursed vibes, Abby, cursed vibes out of 10. That's where we go. We'll say cursed vibes. Or, no, because it doesn't work for anything else. Just this one, I'm fairly sure. Yeah, so spoopiness factor. Out of 10, what are you giving it?
7.
Ooh, we got a 7. I just realised that we can all now both be on the podium and off the podium, depending on how this goes.
No, the first place there's only one winner.
Yeah, but
I already won that.
No podium.
But hang on. So no, because Tyler could lose completely, and me and Dalen still take up the full podium.
God damn it.
Ooh. Oh, well, should we see if we can make that effect? So we got 7 on the spoopiness factor here. Up next, we've got Dalen. Dalen, what am I looking at here?
Oh, okay. This is from 2004 movie Highwaymen.
This is 2004?
Yes.
Was it shot on film?
No, I don't think so. No, it's pixels were hard to find in 2004, apparently, still. So, it's been a while since I've seen this movie. I probably should have looked up this, but actors, even characters, I forgot them. But basically, you had a creepy old insurance adjuster and a green 1973 Cadillac Eldorado going around the country staging car crashes with young women. The other actor here, the other character here, I forget his name, but I do remember that is Jim Caviezel. in a 1968 Plymouth Barracuda
which was
chasing down this insurance adjuster serial killer. I think in the story this goes on for multiple years.
Have you not seen this movie?
What? I have.
I haven't.
Oh, I was going to say, because I've also picked a movie for mine that I didn't see. Sorry, continue.
No, it's been a few years since I have seen it. But the Cadillac, he's a paraplegic, so the thing is, on air ride, will basically lay frame with a ramp coming out the side so you can roll into it and then drive it with hand controls. There's little details like the fact that only one headlight works. Well, one side of the headlights work because he only has one eye that works. And I believe it's on the same side.
Well, I hope so.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's cool.
Basically,
motif.
Most of the movie involved car chases. He would ram people. He once caused someone to roll their Saab and then dragged it upside down with fuel leaking everywhere for a few miles.
It's actually quite safe to roll a Saab. Saab are known for being safe to roll, so that's basically fine.
Well, there was a woman inside the Saab while it was like sparking and like about to catch on fire, and then she had to escape the Saab that was being drugged. Which is actually why the Barracuda in this picture only has a door that doesn't match and a fender's a bit squished up, because in the chase he had to throw the door off to be able to catch her for reasons.
That's cool. I need to see this movie now.
The Barracuda is canonically a 426 Hemi-powered 4-speed sticks super stock car.
So it's an actual X like NASCAR type thing.
Drag car.
No, yeah, super stock or the drag car. So that's the same as the dark
canonically in the story, that is a body and white car that never carried a VIN, and he ended up with it and used it to chase the serial killer.
That's dope.
I just want the ratty looking CUDA with the super stock hood.
It's pretty great.
Especially if I see a roll bar in it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why he ended up with the CUDA. The story doesn't make sense. The car is awesome, but this guy apparently had like BMW 7 Series and shit because he was I think he actually was a doctor, if I remember correctly. But yeah, he actually is the reason the other guy is fucked up, because he chased him down in his BMW and T-boned the guy's first Cadillac. He didn't die that time though.
How long has this guy been killing people for? I need to see this movie. I
think it was like 7 or 8 years. If anyone's seen this movie recently, they're going to be mad at me because I'm sure I'm getting every single little detail wrong. But yeah, it culminates to basically a rolling fight scene between the Cadillac and the CUDA.
That's dope as hell. I kind of also love watching cars getting absolutely smashed to bits fighting each other. I find that incredibly cool looking. I don't know.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies because you got like serial killer thriller drama. You got dramatic car chases. You've got like cliche cops pulling shotguns on people. it's got everything.
This is America, a movie. I don't know. It sounds cool.
I also don't completely. The cars make less and less sense because it was filmed in 2000. It came out in 2004, and I think it was just one of those modern day movies. It just took place in mid 2000s.
Oh right.
So
okay.
an approximate time where that CUDA's worth more than a house.
Yes, and that Cadillac was also that Cadillac was probably worth being a 73. I don't think everyone still hated 70s cars at that point. So
that was
don't people still hate 70s cars?
That could be a 500 car. But it'd be like the 150.
That's a front-wheel drive 500.
But it's like the 150 horse emissions 500.
Going in through a what?
It's a turbo 400 set up for front-wheel drive.
Yeah, what TH 425 I think it was, or
I forget to remember the number. I hate it.
Okay.
They suck to rebuild.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's actually a couple scenes where he got that car to rotate and spin, and I imagine whatever stunt driver got stuck with that was pissed off that entire day.
Just have a set of casters that pop up to kick the back end around.
Well, actually,
that's not a car that likes. That's a giant 5,000-pound front-wheel drive car. Rotating is not a thing it wants to do.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, there's a lot of they can do a lot of that with ropes. So in Fast and Furious 3, Tokyo Drift.
Mm-hmm.
You know that one scene where they got the RX-7 doing a donut around that one car to flirt with them? The RX-7 actually, because of how heavy that body kit was, didn't have the power to do that. So what you can't see outside the smoke is he's actually being dragged around on ropes. They basically got a tow vehicle that's just being hidden away by the smoke from the tires as they go round this car. So that's probably what they did. Again, very compact. I did it in Baby Driver.
Alternatively, we could have just given it some more power and a decent driver.
They were apparently already breaking axles like left and right in the stunt cars.
Really?
Yeah.
Stunt driving stunt cars as well are actually really fascinating.
How many people were legitimately butthurt that was like a Tokyo Auto Salon car that they just like fucked the paint job on and put it as a movie car?
Was it a really good car to begin with?
It was like a really high end like.
Yeah, Fast and Furious has a history of using like pretty fucking significant cars as movie cars, even in sometimes insignificant roles.
Like Freiburger's F-bomb?
Yes, and also in that same movie, Big Red.
Yep.
Big Red was a background set car in a scene of that movie. You see it for 2 seconds, and that is probably the most famous Camaro there ever was.
Second to Freiburger's F-bomb.
To be fair, Freiburger's F-bomb wasn't actually famous until after the movie.
But it is now.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows.
And now people know what it actually is and realize, oh, that's pretty cool. They made like a half-assed clone of it because they trashed that car and they really only used it in the scene where they trashed it. So they didn't bother. I don't think the actual car was ever on set.
What you often find with sort of
they actually had the real Big Red on set with just some asshole like minor character like leaning against it.
You want to talk about ridiculousness though? If we go to Tokyo Drift, the beginning, I fucking love the Malibu. I want to own that build. Oh, sorry, Monte.
It's a Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Monte Carlo is so because it is. I think that was actually.
We point out that 632 big block is like a $10,000 crate motor, backed up by like a $5,000 transmission.
I will add. Sorry,
that was actually like a magazine project car that was like halfway done.
I love that car.
That car is 100% practical. It did its own stunts, and I'm fairly sure they only had the one as well. Like there wasn't. Because what you find most movie cars. So a perfect example is Baby Driver. If you watch the opening scene of Baby Driver, I think there's actually 7 Subaru Imprezas. Some are rear-wheel drive, some are four-wheel drive, some have got improved engines, some have got improved suspension. Most haven't got an interior, some do.
One of them had the ABS fuse pulled just so they could do that scene where they lock all the tires up.
Yeah, and my absolute favourite one is that they've got the regular car with a cockpit built on top. So any of those scenes where they see from the inside, they are actually driving around, but it's not being driven by Ansel Elgort. It's been driven by, I believe, actually Ben Collins.
Jeremy Fry actually did a lot of those driving for that movie too.
Yeah, but Ben Collins was in the Bond movies. But they have like a cage on top of the car to drive around, which is why you notice every time they do interior shots and they go around a corner, you see how much it leans. A big part of that is because they've got a massive cage on top of the car.
Actually, I heard this from Jeremy Fry. One of the last chase scenes in John Wick, there's that one shot where that Charger is bouncing around a lot. That's because the last stunt car they had was the one that was prepped to have the cage on it. And so they pulled the cage off, but it still had the stupid stiff springs on it.
It's a really common thing because obviously you destroy a lot of cars during film and stuff.
But there's like that one shot where you see it like transition, it like bounces hard and almost comes off the ground. Yeah, that's because it was way oversprung. That's because it was.
It's great. A lot of movie stunts come off because of that. A lot of cool movie stunts are a result of like, oh, the actual car we were meant to use for this was broken. I believe actually. So yeah, again, going back to Baby Driver, you know that reverse 180 slide? That was meant to be one of the rear-wheel drive cars, but I believe it blew the clutch right before they needed to do the shots. They had to use an actual all-wheel drive.
That's a cooler shot with the all-wheel drive. Because what's cool about that is when the front it bites and turns the car back around.
Yeah, but the thing is, that was meant to be the rear-wheel drive converted car, but they couldn't do it. So they said to the stunt driver, "You're gonna have to do it with the four-wheel drive." When you went, "All right, I'll do it." Also, interestingly, most stunt cars automatics. That one surprised me. Stunt drivers prefer autos.
There's a lot of things you need to focus on when doing that. If they can take shifting out of it, they usually will.
Because they're usually always in like not enough room for whatever they're trying to do. There's a lot of things they can't hit, and also they just don't have very many chances usually. Because Baby Driver was actually a fairly low budget movie.
Okay, I still haven't seen that.
You probably find
that after this recording.
Yes, we're gonna have to watch that after this recording.
So you know how you're saying how it's a shame that this Barracuda was probably like a mint condition Barrett Jackson auction thing. What was actually really
fun? To be fair, I'm quite certain that was not an actual super stock big block car.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure the stunt cars probably had 318s or 360s in them for this, or they actually at this time might have just shoved a 350 in it.
Well, what they did very often actually in 2000s is they'd get, so they did this especially with, if you know, again, Too Fast Too Furious, they did the same thing. The cars they use as stunt cars in there, that the Challenger and the Camaro that look beautiful and stunning or whatever, they are junkyard cars. They were taken out of a junkyard, quickly slapped together, painted so they look nice, and given I believe in both cases Chevy small blocks.
Fast and Furious 1, all the American stuff had 350 Chevys in them, like just GM crate motors. By the time the later movies came out, the LS3 crate motors were available, so they started buying those.
You used to be able to buy those like ZZ350 crate motors though for like $3,500.
Yes, and they would just buy those and throw them and everything.
Yeah.
The 70 Charger from Fast and Furious, that was not a Hemi car. That was a 350 car with a fake blower sitting on top of it.
Yeah, that's why they had the hood on in all those shots.
Yep.
The hood off shot was the only car that was actually a built motor. That's the hero.
And again, another one, if you ever watched the 2002 film Die Another Day, James Bond, you got a V12 Aston Martin Vanquish and a V8 Jaguar, both of them Chevy small blocks, because they couldn't fit the fake missiles in behind the grills with the regular engines. So what you probably got here is that's a junkyard Barracuda.
I kind of like the idea of angry small block Aston.
Yeah.
What do you think about it though? Like an HEI Chevy, if it's carbureted, you need like 5 wires to run the entire engine.
Plus, they can just keep reusing the engines. And
you pull it out, put it whatever else. You just weld up a quick set of mounts.
Yeah,
you put a mechanical transmission behind it.
They are incredibly cheap to use.
I just realized stunt cars are probably built the same way demo derby cars are.
Exactly the same.
Because demo derby guys, they'll have a really nice drivetrain, and they'll just keep shoving it in the new chassis. It's backwards. The chassis is the consumable in that program.
Yeah, you build a $15,000 motor.
Not like my car. My car, I plan on probably having multiple engines over its lifetime.
Okay, lads, I'm going to bring us back onto topic, and I'm going to ask Abby. Abby, on the spoopiness factor, where are we ranking these?
What film is it from?
What film is it from again?
2004 Highwayman.
2004 Highwayman.
Not to be confused with like the 2018 Kevin Costner Netflix special.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I haven't actually seen that one.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's really good.
I think it's like a miniseries, I remember. No, I think
Ooh, fellas, we've got a rating, and the rating is
4.
Ooh, in fairness, I will say, this sounds like an amazing movie, but I am also not seeing the spookiness side of it.
The ominous Cadillac coming to kill you.
It's a serial killer movie. It was like suspense, and he makes multiple attempts at killing the same woman.
Very true. However, I will say, if he's making multiple attempts at the same woman, he's not a very effective serial killer. And also, the cars aren't very spooky because the cars are both cool. There's the counter argument.
But I do believe at one point that she did in fact turn the color of an avocado when he rolled down the street in his Eldorado. Please tell me one of you got that reference.
I did not.
Oh, there's one person right now listening who's like, yes! He said the thing!
I will say, I do love the fact they've given the Cadillac one headlight to mimic the eye. I think that's a very clever feature. That's the sort of thing that makes me, as a film student, very excited. But should we see if your second offering, Dalen, can bring a higher score in?
Well, if you didn't think that was spooky, anyway, here we go. Okay, I guess next slide, please. Here we have another shitty fucking piece of film work I love a lot.
Oh god,
2008 continuation season of Knight Rider.
Oh god. To anyone in the UK watching, we had this on in the UK, and it was on Channel 5, and that says exactly what you need to know about the 2008 continuation of Knight Rider, which me and Dalen both.
We have here a 2008 Ford Mustang GT500 TR or KR, which was coincidence that was like their king of the road record.
Is that not a Super Snake?
No, it's not.
It looks like the Shelby Super Snake hood.
They might have done some of that for.
Because that looks like the stock Shelby hood.
Yeah, but yeah. So they did this. This is basically it's the Knight Industries 3000. Real nerds will know there was a Knight Industries 4000, but they forget it exists. They want to block that.
That episode that did not happen.
But yes, they actually. So this thing it does kit things. It does turbo boost. It jumps itself. It drives itself. It's very fast. It's indestructible for reasons. However, in the original series, with the Trans Am and David Hasselhoff, the story behind how KITT was indestructible was a very solid coating they would put over the body. How they did it in this series was little nanobots essentially constantly fixing everything on the car, and could also shift the actual molecular buildup of the body panels and shit.
Do you want me to show you what it could change?
Hang on. I'm getting there. So they realized that we can also use this justification to have our other party trick, which was this. Next slide, please. All of the cars on this screen are KITT. Yep. Which, as you can also see, was a Ford product placement wet dream.
Yep. I was going to say, I wonder who sponsored this show.
Every car that got significant screen time and didn't get blown up was a Ford. So yes, we have down here in the bottom right the attack mode, which I almost included the picture of the pilot episode attack mode, which I almost like more. At the time, I didn't like it, but because this was more cartoony. But now I'm an adult, I prefer the OG. Anyway, but yeah, KITT gets side dumps, exhaust, a giant intake scoop that isn't hooked up to anything, giant air dam at the front. Hood scoop gets bigger, wing gets bigger, wide body scoops everywhere. It's fucking awesome. Machines and rockets come out of the fenders occasionally. It's great.
One of my absolute
favorite things in the middle there, for one single shot, where they're trying to hide from the cops, KITT becomes a 1969 Boss 302. And you will also notice the trend of every iteration of KITT has to have the scanner bar crammed in there somewhere. They didn't always plan it right. If we go up from there, we have the Ford Flex that KITT disguised himself as, so we could park the car on the casino floor as a reward car and do surveillance.
Can I put a side note in here about how shitty the Ford Flex is?
Quite.
The only way to get the headliner out of that car to replace it is to take the windshield out. So when you get water damaged headliners from a plugged up sunroof,
we go to top right. The KITT became an LAPD Crown Vic just for one shot to pick up Michael Knight, I believe, from the scene of an assassination attempt.
Of course.
We go to top center. We have an F-150 Crew Cab FX4.
Oh, please, can I talk about this one?
It was used in 2 episodes.
Can I please bring up the really dumb one? Can I please bring up the really dumb time? So, for whatever reason, they have to go along a train track. So they decide the way to go along this train track is to change it to the Ford F-100, but somehow inexplicably has rocket boosters on it. So there's a really shit CGI shot.
Well, KITT still has turbo boost capabilities while in truck mode. They never did that, but I guess he did.
It goes along a railway line in truck form in like mega hyper speed, and you better go, oh, that's really fast, and then it changes into the sports Mustang, and you're like, what? It's the dumbest thing.
No, they did it twice.
They did that twice?
There was this. No, he transitioned like twice in that chase scene.
Oh, wow.
Because that was the first actual main season episode. That was episode 2.
Oh, boy. Oh,
so they had to pound it in. Yo, we can do shit now. Which also, anyway, so they did that, and there was also an episode where he was after like a radical militant group of basically, we would call them maggots now, but this predated Trump. So there was a scene where he had to basically chase after the crazy fucking militant guy's Hummer H1 because of fucking course he had a Hummer H1. Or wait, no, was it? I don't think he had an H1. I think all of the bad guys had H1s, except for the one main guy. He had a Range Rover, I remember correctly.
Of course.
They obviously, to do on well-maintained gravel roads, needed the 4-wheel drive and could not do that with the Mustang. Yeah, there was a scene in that episode where KITT gets hit with a missile mid-transition.
Oh, I was going to say, I remember that. Didn't it at one point, because he's turning into battle mode as he jumps over the top of someone, doesn't he?
Yes, that happened too.
That cripples the KITT system.
So there's the F-150 mode. I forget why KITT was a van, but KITT was definitely a van, and if you look closely, The only good shot of the van was completely fucking CG. They didn't even use a real van.
Oh my god, it is! It's a CG van!
That's the only picture of the van I could find. And then we have the best one. For the Halloween episode, Kit dressed up in drag as a V6 convertible Mustang with pink trim.
Oh. I didn't even know about that.
There's quite a bit wrong about that whole logic.
As this podcast contingent in the not quite sure what gender they are variety. Mustang in drag. Is that technically offensive? I'm not sure.
He went for the college girl special convertible with the pink trim.
Oh.
It wouldn't be.
The sad thing is, I have seen more than one Mustang of this generation that looks just like that.
It's got the ugly wheels on it.
With
and
the pink highlights
also,
too.
What adds it best, if you look closely, the scanner bar they half-assed into the grill is crooked, implying someone has hit it with something.
Oh god, oh man. This show was bad. Again, everyone, I can't help but remind everyone in the UK. Channel 5. I need to rewatch this show again, because it is exactly as dumb as I remember it, and I kind of feel I'd love it in the
They somehow made it dumber and cheesier than the 1980s version. They out-cheese the 80s. It's amazing.
I mean, it went from a Trans Am to a Trans Mustang, so there's that. You know, they figured that bit out.
It was ahead of its time.
Also, the weird nerd in me remembers, and there was a shot where they went into the garage where supposedly the Night 2000 was, or like parts of it, like in Charles Graham's shop, and there's like a Tuneport 350 sitting there, which canonically is bullshit. Because Kit 2000 was turbine powered apparently, but they remembered to bring out the Tuneport 350. So those of us who know, wait, that's even more bullshit because that entire series predated Tuneport injection.
Yeah, that'd have been a TBI car.
Look,
no,
they might have modified it after the end
that
of
was
the
a
show.
quadrijet
junk.
Right, that's it. That's the whole 2008 series cancelled. We've upset the gays. We've upset the car guys. Everyone's up in arms. It's all a bad time. I can't get over the fact they CGI'd the van. I can't help but notice how you pointed it out either.
It's a black Ford Econoline. Just go buy one.
They had to have They used those for those are just set vehicles. You couldn't just pull one off the back lot. I guarantee there was 3 of them back there that looked just like it.
Oh man!
Hang on, let me hang this red LED in the grill real quick.
I need a cigarette.
Which they clearly had a bunch of those, because they just kept cramming them bitches everywhere.
Into any black rental car that Hertz had.
Also, I do like how on the Crown Vic for the scanner bar, it's not actually a separate light. It's just the top grill is waving back, is changing colors.
I do quite like that. I do love Crown Vics. I have no reason why. I just do. This was the dumbest show possible. I will say though, it can change color at whim, can't it?
Wait, I forgot. There was in the pilot episode, Kit shows up as a rental car blue Mustang.
I was going to say
to pick up the doctor's Dr. Graham's daughter.
We got to remember, people are stupid.
Which was also Dr. Graham. I forgot.
They won't know what it is. People are dumb, so if the car's not black, they're not going to know what it is.
Well, it also changed from a
GT500
to a V6.
Black and also have a big
which is actually very noticeable because it's like the whole front end's different.
Yeah.
And I think the back bumper's different too. Hell, the fenders and quarters are wider slight wide body than the GT500 as well. Which I'll also admit, I found this originally as a kid and thought it was a kid that already knew about original Knight Rider and thought it was cool. So I love this shit. And this is probably because of this. This is my favorite body style Mustang. I like the 07.
I do remember this also from when I was a kid, and I do remember thinking
you need to go a little later so you get
the
Trinity car.
But this one looks cooler.
But the Trinity's better.
I don't even want a GT500. I just want that nose on a GT that I put in the lesson.
Well, I can get that for you. So if you want that version of the Mustang, what you do is you get a Ford F100. You stick some red lights in the grill, and eventually, when you come out in the morning, it will have changed.
Just cross your fingers and hope which one it is. Walk out in the morning like Econoline. Fuck!
And then you try to get in the Econoline and you can't because it's CGI.
You just spawn through the side of it. It's two-dimensional.
We've got some bad news, lads. I think Abby has fallen asleep to do that. Oh no, she's woken back up. Sorry. Oh, are you a bit tired? Do you want a nap? Do you want me to stop using you for ratings?
I hear something.
So, do you want to give us a rating for how spooky this is?
It's a 2.
Oh, man!
There's nothing spooky about Kit.
But think about it,
Oh.
right? In talking about a modern era, everyone finds the whole, LGBT thing scary, and we've got a trans Mustang.
2.
Actually, I would say non-binary because he changed back.
It's a non-binary Mustang.
It's a gender-fluid Mustang.
This is Kit.
I mean, most Mustangs don't have any gender, so it's...
This is they, them, Kit. Oh, God.
Yes, I am the Night Industries 3000s. My pronouns are they, them.
I like to think of it as he's gone out on his stag do, but he's not very original on ideas.
See, no, I'm actually supportive of Kit and any transition they choose to make. I think it's 2022. Mustangs could be CGI Econoline vans if they want to be. I think we should support him. I don't think this. I think we're playing into the turf notion if we say this is scary because we're just not supporting Kit.
It's 2.
1 out of 10, Dalen. Congratulations. Hang on, I just guaranteed a podium.
I don't think Kit is. I think Kit's just got dressed up today.
Oh, poor Kit.
Kit's become Kitten.
Would that be Kit's name? Maybe it's like a drag. I reckon Kit would make a great drag performance. Like, you think, oh, it comes out to drag night, you think, oh, here we go, it's going to be like, Mustang versus a Camaro. But no, it's just Kit as a V6 convertible Mustang just singing show tunes at you. I would watch that. Sorry. Again, can't remind you all. This TV show, Channel 5. Hey, you say that. I've got a few movies in the works. I need to actually show you guys some of them at some point. I think you might enjoy one of the projects I've got in on the go. But anyway, should we move on to the next? Oh God, it's my turn next. I need to get my notes up.
I was having a nap.
Well, don't have a nap. It's podcast time. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Hey, get together. It's podcast. I can't remember the full thing. Oh, I have not farted.
Oh.
This is not a version of Kit, by the way, to anyone asking. This is the Frankenstein's Mustang Monster from the... Oh, God, what year did this come out in? I think this was like 2006. The film Death Race.
It is still the same Mustang. Like, it's the same generation Mustang.
I hate this movie. I hate this movie for a very specific reason.
Yes, we actually both share the same critique of the Grudge.
You know the Dodge Ram dually that's in this?
Yes. Okay, they made those trucks by taking crew cab, short bed half tons, cutting the back half of the cab off, and then putting fake dually bedsides on them.
Instead of just buying a fucking dually, which they make.
To be fair, that also means they didn't cut up any long beds to make the movie.
That does make me happy.
Never mind, we're okay. We're okay again.
Oh yeah, those are Hemi half tons. Fuck those.
Those are parts trucks. Yep. Crew cabs even. Crew cab shorties.
This is the worst configuration for a truck ever.
Never mind, we're no longer angry at this movie.
Okay. So welcome to the proof of concept therapy session. We work out our grievances with films from many years ago. So this film is set in the far off distant year of 2012. It's a remake of the original Death Race, wherein the original Death Race you'd fly around, you'd go run over loads and loads of people. The whole point was you get points for killing pedestrians. In this remake, we move past that as a society. We're far less barbaric now. Instead, you have prisoners who have to kill each other in these races, in these heavily modified cars. And if they win 5 races, they get to escape. And And the favourite driver, Frankenstein, dies. So he'll have to be replaced by world's best and boldest man, Jason Statham, who takes up Frankenstein's place, right? Now, this has been described as an S197 Mustang meets 82 GT meets Apache gunship, and that was by Motor Trend. So what they actually are, they're just Mustang GTs that have been set up to Roush for various upgrades, which are, so for example, they've got tuned suspension, Roush superchargers, and things like this. They are actually set up very similar to race cars, but they're not very fast because they've had to put so much armor. Yeah, it's gone.
Those are GT500 wheels.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, they got a load of parts off them. Yeah, they got a load of parts off that
cars. Okay, I don't know if the stunt cars were, but the hero car was the stick car because they made a lot of point to show the shifter with the Cobra shift shuttle, which I'm sure is a very fucking uncomfortable shift knob to use.
Very.
Yeah.
I can think of more uncomfortable reasons to be in this vehicle. I love the fact it's got a side mirror, but if you look, that window is completely blocked off, so you can't see anything through that mirror anyway.
No, actually, that wasn't completely blocked off. That was just, I think, as we would describe the Ray Charles tint, because you can't see through it. Oh, and there's just bars across the window.
Yeah, that's bulged out like it's bulletproof glass.
Ah, okay. But yeah, this is a super. So this has got 500 odd horsepower. But it can barely move because of all the armor plating. I will point out, in reality, the armor plating is still plastic. It's not metal like it is in the show, but even with it being plastic, it was actually that heavy that it made these cars quite sluggish, even with 500 odd horsepower. Obviously, in universe, it's equipped with thick steel armor and machine guns, which are its main weapon. This is dumb, but kind of, I guess, sort of spook. It is a crap movie. It is a truly abysmal movie. I do love the fact they decided to keep the Shelby badge, so the prancing horse badge. Like they went, oh, you know what we need to do?
You had to make sure you know it's Mustang. And they also went for the Shelby Mustang. That was the gimmick with the Cobra head shift knob.
And the two headlights in the grill and the twin scooped hood like that.
But they made it more square, so you know that it's armored. I gotta say, where does that thing breathe from? I can't help but feel that is not going to get much ventilation.
That looks like, you see the bottom opening there? I don't know why I just moused it, I didn't even see it. But like that bottom opening in the front bumper there looks like it's a bottom feeder, just like the stock car would have been.
If I remember correctly, in this film, they have to drive
the actual Mustangs, I think the upper grille is mostly blocked off and it gets air from the bottom of the bumper.
It does get some through the front, but that more goes to like...
I feel like it's more for your AC and everything.
Yes.
The actual, like, radiator air goes to the bottom.
Most of it comes up under the bottom.
I will say, this thing looks like shit. Like, this is a terrible looking thing. It looks
like something that one of my methed out neighbors would drive.
It does look like something that was built by prisoners with prison labor. I will give them that. The stripes are...
However, this is just reminding me that I need a ratty S197 with loud exhaust at some point.
I would also not mind one, but we don't have them here, really, unless you import them, which is a shame. Although someone you know had one, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
That's what I want. I want my old 2-valve, but in S27 form. With some inappropriate engine combo.
I will say, though, however, as much as these cars look terrible, a point in their favour is not a single one broke from reliability issues during the entire shoot. The only thing that went wrong was any ones that got crashed had reliability issues after their crash related to their certain crash. None of them ever broke reliable-wise, despite being pushed quite hard. Not a single one.
However, the idea that this has been hacked into race car by prison labor is kind of not really... I don't know. Unless they completely swap out the drivetrain, because wasn't this the first time Ford tried CAN bus and shit?
It wasn't the first.
On this generation, like, it was a pretty early attempt at it. So we're getting more complicated as far as wiring and making things still.
Dalen, you are forgetting this is in the far-off mystical world of 2012.
Okay, I was
this is in the far future.
Almost 2012.
They can think this up by then.
So, yeah, they were shit at that point, too.
But yeah, that is the Frankenstein's monster.
I just realized this would have... Okay, realistically, this would have had a 302 with a 4-barrel on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not. It's in the far-off, dystopian world of 2012. It could have been anything in there.
Well, in 2012, it could have been a Coyote.
Exactly. It could have been It could have been the missing jet turbine from Kit 2000.
Stole it from the yard truck.
Actually, no, they probably would have given them the parts. So actually, yeah, that would have made most sense. Logistically, it would have been simpler. You would have just said, "Hey, we need motor for our race car for your really expensive big bunny movement production that you have." So they would probably just order a new crate motor.
These were sent off to Roush, so these were stock
no,
engines with
I'm
Roush
thinking of like in the context of the situation provided in the movie, like in the story. Yeah, they probably would have just ordered new engines. Actually, if you're actually doing it, you would probably just like bring in people to do the car prep too. Because
I mean, I'll be honest. If I was a prisoner and I was like, I can fight my way to escape using this car race. Oh, they're giving me machine guns. I'm going to use them on the guards instead.
All of that is mentioned in the movie. There was precautions against all of that in the movie.
You just build a killdozer and crash your way out. It's simple enough.
If they would have given me choice in my car, I probably would have picked a Komatsu dozer.
Fucking Brinks truck.
Oh, dozer. As long as you don't break the tracks off it, we're fine.
I just ask for a tank. If you were choosing a car, I'll take a chieftain.
No, you set up a deal with one of your teammates, with one other guy you bribe, and then you also pick a dozer. And then you get in, we wait till probably everyone leaves you, and then y'all just turn around and set up like the end of fucking Vanishing Point. And just collect everyone else.
If you have 2 sets of miniguns at the right intersect point, there's no way to make it through that.
Yeah, you had the miniguns to kind of weed them out, and then the ones finally they're panicking and they don't see that you've blocked the entire width of the track with the blades, so you just reenact Vanishing Point.
That works.
I mean,
for anyone who hasn't seen that, the end of Vanishing Point, the Challenger crashes at about 100 mile an hour into a pair of bulldozers set up in a V formation.
I think what you should do instead of that is just drive the armored tuk-tuk. I think it's the Pakistani Secret Service have. No, I think it might be the Sri Lankan, where it is literally a tuk-tuk technical with like an anti-aircraft gun on the back. Just drive that.
Tyrese Gibson is going to come through in the duel and just annihilate you on the first.
Oh my god, we need to build a tuk-tuk technical.
Yes, we do. If I ever get to come out to the States, that's what we do.
Yes!
They did it in Far Cry.
Yeah, let me know when you're coming here. We'll find a tuk-tuk.
So, Abby, what is your rating for Frankenstein's monster?
I want to be a tuk-tuk door gunner.
Podium, baby! I'm number 1! I'm number 1! I win!
Terrifying looking. Those headlights would be useless in the dark.
They are, actually, yeah. That's a good point. I don't think any of the races were at night, but it does look like it's got like a night scoop at the top, like with further lights in it. This is dumb.
That looks like there's some definitely lights up there.
You get really bad casting as well.
It makes me think of this looks like a cartoon thing,
so
like something like from Cell Damage. I got 9.
Would this just have the ammo belts, like probably where the heater box is? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Is that where they'd fit? Okay.
Yeah, where does the ammo go? Hang on a minute.
No, I think it goes about where the
but the center minigun is dumping right into the fuel rails.
Yeah, this is the dumbest thing.
They should have had a channel built in where it just dumps them out in front of through the front of the screw. Those are the things just sneezing brass the whole time. He's just sneezing.
God, I want a minigun.
So
inappropriate minigun strapped poorly to the front of a car is a cool thing.
So if you want the idea of a machine gun strapped poorly to a car, you might like my next one.
It's the very definition of spray and pray, though.
The next car I brought along is from a movie starring Rowdy Roddy Piper. It's called Hell Comes to Frogtown. I will point out, I've never actually seen this film, so I'm going to give you a synopsis from IMDb, okay? Hell is the name of the hero of the story. He's a prisoner of the women who now run the USA after nuclear/biological war. Results of the war are that mutants have evolved and the human race is in danger of extinction due to infertility. Hell is given the task of helping in the rescue of a group of fertile women from the harem of the mutant leader, in brackets, resembling a frog. Hell cannot escape since he has a bomb attached to his private parts which will detonate if he strays more than a few hundred yards from his guard. That's the film we're talking here. Man's gonna have his dick blown off if he gets too far away from the harem.
Damn you and your electric sex pants.
But in the
movie,
it's
different than any other Thursday night.
In the movie, he has this van, which I think looks sick nasty. It's a 1947 Chevrolet Advanced Design panel van, which I can't find anything out about this because there's no information anywhere. All I know is that it's basically canonically got light armament, so it's got steel plate and stuff like that. And it's had a hole cut out of the roof with a machine gun mounted to it, and it's been painted pink for all reasons. And there's not many good photos of it either, and I just think this thing looks sick. I think that's so cool.
Originally, it would have been like a stove bolt inline 6 with a 3-speed. They're actually really fun to drive.
Well, all the shots I've seen of it, it gets a fair bit sideways, which is cool.
Probably just got a small block in it.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee that's a 350.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, most likely. Although, actually, I don't know. Well, it might have been. Because it was, I think this film came out... Well, I can't even find out where this film came out. No one seems to know if it's 87 or 88.
That was 100% a Chevy crate motor 350 in that thing.
But yeah,
I've been distracted the whole time thinking of They Live quotes. We've got one that can see.
It is so dumb, this thing, and I love it. This thing is so good.
So is this going to be your weekend watching project?
Possibly. I think we're going to go and try and watch Bullet Train after this, aren't we?
I'm starving first. Can we eat?
We can have a packet of crisps on the way to the cinema to go watch Bullet Train. I look after my girlfriend, ladies and gentlemen.
I want a curry.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind a curry. I don't know, I think this thing looks really cool. I don't think it looks spooky at all. But I don't know. I love the idea that the hero of this movie has, he's going to have his dick blown off with explosives and drives a pink van. I kind of appreciate that level of masculinity. That's great.
But also, chained up woman.
It is the 80s. Of course there is a chained up woman. I love how in this scene of... Again, I have not watched this film at all. I'm only going off what I've seen of it. And it's
like Rango. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rango's
a gecko, though. That is a frog, but not a frog. Also, for any context, the main character is called Sam Hell. This is like the most B movie you could be movie, I think, from what I can gather. But yeah, this is his van.
Are you sure it's not just a porno?
It's not. Rowdy Roddy Piper was a wrestler?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, he was a wrestler. So this is before, people who were wrestlers had sex tapes leaked to the news, and then the news guy was like, oh, well, I'd leak an 8-year-old sex tape if I had to. That was an interesting situation.
Anyway, rating.
Spookiness. What, a pink van? You're not finding a pink van scary?
So the thing is, I am, though. It's the metal in the back. And
it does have slight nonce vibes.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Slight nonce vibes.
If I saw that coming
what was the rating?
We're not getting it yet. She's still counting.
Alarmed.
What's our rating on the spookiness?
It's quite scary looking.
You can't. I feel bad. You can't downgrade the bloody Barracuda to a 4 and give the nonce van a high. Come on, what's
That's quite scary.
What are you giving the nonce van?
A 5.
The nonce van is scarier than the Barracuda. I don't agree with you.
Well, the Barracuda wasn't supposed to be scarier. The Cadillac was a scary one.
So what was the score?
Predators.
This got a 5. So
I got second.
I got first and third. Oh no!
What happened?
Dalen is last twice.
Scary things, though.
Oh, Dalen, my good friend, my pal, my husband, technically.
That's why I downgraded.
You got downgraded through jealousy. It's a bitter drug.
Wait a minute. Did all of us not pick Christine because we assumed somebody else was going to pick Christine?
Yes.
You told me that Tyler had Christine. I was going to pick Christine.
I was also thought about doing Christine. I also thought somebody was going to do the truck from Duel.
Not going to lie, I got home yesterday evening from being gone for an entire week, working 12+ hour days.
Mm-hmm. I
picked the car in the middle of the week. It's like, fuck it, I can do that. I researched that this morning before you came here, and I had to unload the lathe and mill.
I picked this because I thought I couldn't have Christine. I wish I could have had Christine.
You can do Christine for the next episode. It's okay.
Right. Okay. Actually, hang on. I'm gonna. I'm gonna do something technical and clever. So I'm now gonna cut to a
Metal Gear Solid alert. What?
I want to go get food. Stop.
Let's give the spookiest car of all time. I've definitely done this without any editing at all. This just happened to be the last. Oh god, how do I go full screen?
You're not using the flaming shot?
I broke it. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I am as dictator and ruler of all above.
Please tell me you're just going to edit this picture in post.
Yeah, I'm going to. Or I'm not. I'm just going to do this really bad thing where I just show myself blatantly Googling it last second. I say we rate for Halloween the spookiest car of all in all movies and all that sort of stuff to Christine. Gentlemen, are you happy to agree with this?
That's fine. I'm still in third.
Yeah, I mean...
Are you agreeing with this?
I don't know what spooky is. I'm not sure this is
agreeing to anything.
So,
I think we give this car to Abby because
what about,
it makes sense. So Abby wins.
Abby, you've been awarded.
Okay.
You've been awarded the win.
That try to kill people though, like fucking Maximum Overdrive. Every truck in that was Christine, essentially.
Hey, I have an idea, lads. October's a long month. Why don't we do a second podcast of horror episode on the ones we missed out?
Oh, that works.
So are we partaking in Yandere the Wordsmith's Hallow Month? Okay, apparently.
Yes.
Okay.
So
shout out to that guy. He's cool.
This is our version of Italian month.
I quit watching TikTok, so I don't see much of Yandere anymore. But I hope he's doing well.
Anyway, so thank you all very much for watching. My girlfriend is now begging me to go and get some curry, so I say we are going to have to knock it on the head now. So, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this special Halloween episode of what's our podcast?
Proof of Concept.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. I'm flagging. I'm flagging.
That thing. We did the thing.
We did the podcast. We're back. It's a regular thing-ish again. Yay!
I know. I think we still need to record some ones that go between the last one and this one.
I think that's our plan, but we could...
And then we'll do the next Halloween.
I mean, to be honest, I thought we were recording. I thought we would go ahead and record the one that would come out after the one we did, but then apparently we did Halloween first.
Well, we needed to make sure we had this one ready so we didn't fail again.
We've got to have a Halloween one ready.
Okay,
It's definitely not the 18th of September when we record this.
Okay, so what you're saying is we rushed and half-assed the pre-recording of the thing, so we didn't rush and half-ass the recording of the thing on the day of.
Yep.
Yes. Because we're clever. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. This has been Proof of Concept Podcast. With your three hosts and the fourth one, who is technically now a host but wasn't here for this one because we are really bad at timing. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.